Talking hot yoga, Barry, hot yoga, the real stuff!
Relax and float away to this soothing mix of music and natural sounds.
Hello and welcome back to Game & James, where we bring games into the spotlight. For the past few weeks I've been obsessed with Lionhead Studios' Fable. Despite the overhype in press conferences with its certain gameplay mechanics, RPG elements, and something to do with planting a seed that would grow into a tree over the course of the journey, didn't quite make it into the final build. But aside from all that, we still got a wonderful game that has a beautiful atmosphere, some wonderful, humorous and wise side characters, side quests aplenty, and a wonderful score by Russell Shaw. Fable is set in the world of Albion, where you grow up in a town called Oakvale. After the village is attacked by bandits, your sister is taken away, your father murdered, and no sign of your mother. After being saved and taken to the guild, where heroes are born, you can decide on whether to be a hero or villain. After graduation, you take on quests to help fellow townsfolk or disrupt their peace. And so our journey begins. If someone asked, what's your favourite part of Fable? It would be the atmosphere. Whether walking around the guild, Oakvale or Darkwood, there's an encapsulating fantasy flowing through Albion's nature and town life. So much to gaze upon and understand from a world of heroes, bandits and balverines. Statues that symbolize a fallen hero, an abandoned house rid of those that passed, and the views of what lies yonder from each riverbank and beach. All that I've mentioned are reasons to stay in Albion, yet the bountiful catalogue of knowledge is what I truly love about Fable. Throughout the journey there are bookshelves, some containing hair and tattoo cards for customizing your character. Most of the time you'll uncover a new book that either explores the ideals of Jack of Blades, the origins of a certain town and its downfall, the beautiful and wretched creatures of Albion, or exploring the sinister world of bandits. This isn't the first video game to have collectible books at your disposal, and won't be the last. Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, along with others beforehand, contain pages of the world's land, characters and fantasy rules. And with the ancient texts in Fable, they aren't showcased in any special form. No book opening up to reveal the contents inside. Instead, it's the simple menu text, as if checking the stats on your broadsword. If the menu is simplistic, then the information must be exciting, clever, and fascinating, right? Well, yes and no. Some of the texts branch out the world of Albion well, whereas some are brief and don't thrill the page-turning urge. Collecting the books is more exciting if I'm honest, and they'd probably be glanced at once. That's when Fable The Lost Chapters, an expanded version with extra side quests and locations, enters the console. The most intriguing part of Lost Chapters is how books are implemented. While they are still shown off as a simple item in your inventory, these books can be used for the benefits of education. After making your way to Bowerstone, you'll come across a tavern, some shops, blacksmiths, and then finally a school. Before in vanilla Fable, you could enter and mildly interact with the teacher and students, unlike the shops and taverns where games are plenty and customization was to be found. In terms of education, the books would be all the buzz. This time around in Lost Chapters, the teacher, Mr. Gout, is no longer your everyday NPC. He's in need of some books to educate the students at Bowerstone, which is both for the kids and us, the audience. For something rather minuscule in Fable's world, it does a great deal of effort to turn those texts into an informative lesson, a sense of familiarity, and an occasional addition of crude humour. This small element is key to extra world building in an amusing fashion, giving the return to the school purpose.
Who's the red-robed warrior that brings death and destruction to all of Albion?
Jack!
Who's the legend in the mask with the strength of 10 heroes?
It's Jack!
There were they welcomed by the native folk, with gifts of fruit and fowl and pig and trout, and a strange kind of ale brewed from egg yolk. Then came the kingdom of Archon, and with it heroes who hunted the dragons for sport, almost driving them to extinction. Before long, every home in Albion had dragon scale curtains, dragon claw back scratchers, and dragon foot paperweights. But all too often, spectators would find themselves torn limb from limb by balverines, or caught in the backwash of a hero's spell. According to the sage Richard Phillips, they feed upon the life force of men, sucking out their souls. Either way, if you ever see one, you'll soon end up like them, screaming. Twinblade was once a great hero. A giant of a man, his swords were feared throughout Albion. But at the height of his fame, he abandoned the guild, deciding he had no need to earn gold through quests. He could simply take it. And so, he left for the woods and became a bandit. But of Harkon himself, they found no trace, for the boy had hid in quite a safe place. And though he wished to help in his heart, he stayed hidden till the savages did depart. Then he emerged to find his whole family killed, and the streets of the village with corpses filled. Oh, dear me, this really is the most unoriginal tosh. Perhaps the gentleman who gave us this book could demonstrate the benefits of its teachings himself. Yes. I see. Well, that was most edifying. But I really don't... Oh, dear Lord. Something must have crawled up inside him and died.
Sharing a bundle of books rewards you a witch hat, which will vary between the good and bad books you gather. Through all my time playing through the game once more, going fishing, fighting bandits, creating a story of my own, nothing was as exciting than finding a riveting title from Oakvale to then deliver it to the school. They became my favourite thing to collect aside from clothes and rich jewels.
Today we'll be reading from the Oakvale Raid. Some of you may find what you're about to hear disturbing. I was playing with my teddy bear Rosie when the bandits attacked. The kind boy from up the road had just rescued her from my brother. I didn't know then I would never see them again. It was the screaming that told me they were coming, and I hid under an old cart. From there, I saw the bandits kill all my friends and burn everything I called home. I wanted to help them, but I was so scared I couldn't move. Maybe we should finish this book some other time. In 10, 15 years, perhaps?
Yes, there are books the teacher will refuse to read, such as a mysterious book, your sister's diary, or most specifically, the
Book of Spells. This isn't some potty school for wizards, you know.
This isn't a wizarding school, which is fair enough, but it does become annoying each time you collect more interesting reads, only for him to disregard them and mention the
Book of Spells. This isn't some potty school for wizards, you know.
Aside from that, it's a wonderful feature to an already divine game, and I hope for any future sequels that they expand on it.
I'm afraid school's closed at the moment, hero. Perhaps we could talk again later.
Be sure to check in next time for a review of the Emperor's New Groove video game, and also check out Reel and Film for a guide into movie guides. Till next time, ta-ra. And we did it. Cut.